What the heckers is up, beautiful babes? I hope that everyone is doing wonderful. Here in East Texas, it is some interesting weather going on. I am outside at my house, if you can't tell. So it might be windy. You might hear an animal because my dog is outside as well. You might hear four-wheelers because I'm in the country. And there's no telling what you're gonna hear. But there's a bunch of people at my house, so I came outside. So this last week has been interesting because I missed 2 videos, and I was really upset about that. But I'm having computer issues, so that's always fun, you know. So I wanted to talk about something interesting today. Someone's thinking about me. I wanted to talk about something interesting today that I think is interesting because while society has been creating this whole beautiful body positivity movement recently, something that isn't talked about when it comes to body positivity is the bad days. You know, I shared something on Instagram not too long ago that basically said that there's this idea when it comes to like your self-love journey and body positivity and all of that, that there's this idea that you're not going to have bad days, and that's not true at all, because you're going to have bad days. You're gonna have bad days where you wake up and it sucks and you wonder why you haven't met your goals or why you still feel the way you do, or so on and so forth. But the thing is that those days come, but they don't make your journey any less valid, if that makes sense. Um, you the best thing to do is just to kind of accept those days and be like, okay, this is how this is. This is how it's gonna be, and I'm gonna live it, you know. Um, so some tips from Amber. Sure, you can call them that. Some tips from me on those days is because I have those days quite often, if I don't say so myself. That's not a good thing to be proud of. But I do have those days, you know. I do have those days where I wake up and it's just like, meh, I don't want to do anything. You know, I don't want to do anything. I want to sit here and I want to cry and I want to roll around and I want to be miserable, you know. But I don't. And that's kind of what gets me through those days is I get up and I get dressed and I try to wear a bomb outfit. Most of the time I hate it, but that's okay. So I try to put together a good outfit, and then I go hang out with friends. And on those days I make it a point to do a lot of self-care things, you know, whatever that is for you, whether it's going and getting coffee with friends or putting a face mask on and watching some movie, I don't know, you know, whatever it is for you, you know, taking a bath, take a bath, you know, do the things that are make you feel better, you know, that every time you do them, you're going to feel better. Listen to your favorite song. Just make it a priority to do self-care things, you know. The next thing that I suggest, this is something I do, is on the days that I feel like 100%, you know what I'm talking about, you know, the days where I feel like I am absolutely me, you know, those days I make sure that I take pictures of myself, you know, I put it all over social media, but then I have like tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of pictures in my camera roll of those days where I'm just like, oh girl, you'll know. um, go back and look at those pictures, be like, you know what, today sucks, but I am still the person who was feeling themselves that day. And I'm gonna get through this, and it's all gonna be okay because I am a 10. I'm a 10 out of 10. But no, really, uh, go back to those days. And that leads into like the next thing that I do is I try on the days where I wake up and I don't feel good about who I am and I don't feel confident in who I am and all that. On those days, I make it a point to like try to remember the days that I felt really, really confident. That I felt really, really, really confident. And that the days that I feel confident, I try to make note of them, I guess. Another thing I do is the days that I feel confident, I try to make note of it. I try to remember it, and I try to kind of be like, okay, I'm saving this in my brain. And so the days where I don't feel confident, I go back and I say, what was I like the day that I did feel confident? What was I like when I felt 100%? What was different about that day? Why, but then I don't sit there and dwell on it. I live it. I say, okay, this is fine. This is how it's gonna be, and I'm gonna get through it, and it's all gonna be okay. So, like, I guess this is so important to me because I have these days often, and no one talks about them. No, everyone thinks that this like journey to self love and this narrative that we're riding, it's just it's all okay, folks. You're beautiful, and that's all that you have to know. And that's not true. Last week, I had a lot of days. Almost all last week, I was just like, ugh, you know. I didn't feel myself. I didn't feel 100%. I didn't feel like I was being who I wanted to be. But life gave me a lot of blessings throughout last week. And one of them in particular is I hadn't really talked to anybody about how I was feeling, and I just kind of was just living and letting things happen, and I was taking these days and I was saying, okay, they're valid and okay, they're happening, and just continuing on. But I got to have an amazing conversation about like what it means to love yourself and what it means to do things for yourself with one of my really good friends, and my dog. And she asked me questions. She said, "What is it? People keep telling me that I need to do things for myself. What does that mean?" And that sparked this whole hour-long conversation about loving yourself and who you have in your life to like support that, and that kind of thing. So I guess like don't hide in your room on those days unless that's what you really have to do, because you never know what is gonna make life better. You never know what conversation you're gonna have that might completely switch that day around. And so like I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that I got to have that conversation, because while I was sitting there talking to her about body positivity and self-love and doing things for yourself and just creating a life that's kind of creating a life that's worth living to you, while I was sitting there talking to her about that, I was able to kind of talk to myself, to be like, hey, this is probably why you're feeling this way, Amber. Quit letting dumb people rule your life. But that is a whole nother video, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that for a second, And my thing is, find the people in your life who are gonna fill your cup up and who are gonna hype you up on those days. Find those people who on those days you can go and you'd be like, you know what, I feel like complete garbage, and then go, you don't know what, you're not complete garbage, because let me tell you why, because of this and this and this and this and this, and then you're like, okay, okay. No, but find those people who are gonna support you through it all. Um, and love those people, keep them in your life. But I guess that's all I have to say. This was my first kind of unscripted video where I just knew what I wanted to talk about and talked about it. So this is an awkward ending. But make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. Some exciting news is that Wednesday, a video with my best friend for the first episode of the Project Love Who You Are series is going to come out. And there's some amazing stuff in there. So be looking for that on Wednesday. I cannot wait for you guys to see it because it's beautiful. And just, you'll see it. It's great. But until then, remember that you are beautiful, you're worth it, all that fun stuff, because it's true. So have a good week, have a good night, have a good day, have a good life, and I guess until next time.